Hey everyone, Tanner Bell here. Welcome back to makersgonnalearn.com. In today's video, we're covering 12 of the most asked Cricut questions for 2023. In today's video, we're going to cover topics like what Cricut machine should I own, what is Cricut Access, what vinyl's best, and so much more. If you're ready to learn, go ahead and sit back and relax, and let's jump right into the 12 questions. Kicking off with question number 1 is, which Cricut should I buy? And my question I always ask back when someone asks me that is, do you suffer from FOMO, right? Do you suffer from people, fear of missing out and not having the best? Because if that is true and you're like, oh, I have to have the best, easy. The Cricut Maker 3 is the top of the line machine as of right now of recording this video. Now, if you are someone that is more of an economical crafter, I want to encourage you to check out something like a Cricut Explorer Air 2, a Cricut Explorer 3 is even a value machine. What's neat about the difference in all these machines is you actually could even check out a legacy Cricut Maker machine, because you're going to have a lot of the same ability the new Cricut Maker 3 has compared to the original Cricut Maker. The reason for me there's not a big difference between the original Cricut Maker and the Cricut Maker 3 is because we don't use smart material. Smart material is designed mainly for the new Cricut Maker 3, and this legacy machine actually does really well for us. And we love the original Cricut Maker. It has all the same pressure as the newer one pretty much, and you'll see a significant difference if you're going for a Cricut Maker. What's also really neat is you still get 2 different mats for free when you purchase a Cricut Maker. When you look at an Explorer 3, a Maker 3 machine, guess what? There's no included mat because they believe those machines are matless cutting machines. But if you've been around the channel for long, you would learn that the matless cutting material is actually quite expensive, and it doesn't weed better, it doesn't work better, and we like cutting on a mat here at Makers Gonna Learn. Question number 2 is, what is Cricut Access and do I really need it? Now, I will say when you're first getting started with Cricut, you assume that Cricut Access is the same as Design Space. The number one thing I love to tell people is that these are 2 separate things. Think of it this way. You invest in the machine, they have to provide you the software to use the machine. This is not an open source machine. So Design Space is actually complementary because you invested into the machine. So that's what you need to know. When I'm uploading a file, that is complementary. When I'm using the text function, complementary. The only area that Cricut Access comes into play is when you're looking at their files. They have a lot of files over there, and you can see there's a little Cricut icon to let you know if it's Access or not, and that is part of their own membership for files. Many people ask the question, if I'm a Makers Gonna Learn member, do I need Cricut Access? And the answer is no, you do not. All of our projects we use here, all of the projects we make, all the files we feature are part of the membership. So how Makers Gonna Learn differs from Access is we give training around all of our projects. Hands-on, in-depth, thorough training, where Cricut Access just goes ahead and gives you so many files that you can't really know what to do with, right? They're nice to have, but you're not getting completed projects. So why we also recommend Makers Gonna Learn over Access is any file you download while you're a member, you can keep even after your membership ends, which Cricut Access is very similar to Netflix. You could have been a Netflix member for 3 years, cancel, and what do you have to show for it? Nothing. Just like with Access, whenever you cancel, that's when you lose access to everything. With Makers Gonna Learn, you're gonna have access to any file you downloaded and kept on your own device, which is kind of cool to have something to show for it even after your membership ends, or you have to pause because your circumstances change, your life changes, you're working more, anything like that. So that's a cool feature to know the difference when it comes to Makers Gonna Learn versus Access. So the big question is, do I need Cricut Access? The answer is no. You do not have to subscribe to Cricut Access. You can still use the simple function of Design Space. What's cool is they're adding more and more unique features, which as they grow, hopefully I can change my opinion on Access. But as of today, nope, you don't need it. Next up, how do I know if I need to seal my project? This is a great question. I understand the concern because you work so hard on your Cricut projects. You just may be wondering, how do I know when to seal it? Should I add a sealer? I'm putting something outside. And my friend, what I want to let you know, for the vast majority of projects, especially here at Makers Gonna Learn, if we do not mention a sealer, don't seal it. There's no need. Because what I want to let you all know about and think about is if you are applying vinyl onto a blank and then you are putting a sealer over it, you're not really sealing the project in because the vinyl is still living up to the lifespan of the vinyl adhesion, right? The adhesive on the vinyl is not touching the sealer. It might help it to keep it from weathering and things like that, but for most of our paints that we recommend, our vinyl we recommend, on its own will last a really long time. So a lot of projects we don't seal because we use really quality vinyl, we use really quality paints, stains, etc. There's very far and few in between reasons we would seal a project. And if we do recommend it, like I said, we'll reference it and teach you exactly how to do so. For the most part, you shouldn't have to worry about it. And a lot of times it actually makes the project look less professional. So I want you to keep that in mind. If you must seal it, I love to use spray sealers so I don't have stroke marks and things like that. People constantly ask, what are the different types of vinyl? So what are the different types of vinyl and where do I get it? So the big thing that I want to teach you today is the difference between regular vinyl and heat transfer vinyl. So the first thing you need to know, any vinyl that has this square backing is going to be adhesive vinyl. This right here is like a sticker and you just cut it and you're able to weed it. So this right here indicates it is an adhesive vinyl. Right here, you're going to see if you have a dull side and a shiny side, this showcases it's a heat transfer vinyl. And yes, there's many different types of each of these. So what I recommend to do is on a piece of masking tape, when you unbox it and things like that, and you take away the packaging, I like to write on it, this is foil heat transfer vinyl, this is flock heat transfer vinyl, this is glitter vinyl, this is, shimmer vinyl, anything like that to help you know the exact type of vinyl. But these two are the biggest differences in the industry because this is activated by heat, this is activated by pressure, right? It's a sticker. So that's what you need to know. And if you're wondering, Tanner, where do I get the best price on my vinyl? We have went ahead and linked our favorite partner. It's an affiliate link, so it gives us a little kickback at no cost to you, and that is 143 Vinyl. We love StarCraft, we love Caesar, EasyWeed, we love all of those materials, and you'll find great prices and great shipping over at 143.com. People constantly ask, how big can I cut with my Cricut and how can I do something larger than matte? So number one, I want to let you know the largest you can cut when we're talking about matte cutting is a little less than 12 by 24 if you're using a large mat and a little less than 12 by 12 if you're using a regular mat. Now, that's standard, so like a hair smaller than each of those sizes. You can do matless cutting on these machines and go longer, but it only has 12 inches to work with. So that's one thing I would recommend you to think about. And if you're looking into doing a more advanced matte project is what I would call that, because you're going to slice an image up and you're actually going to apply it together. I would let you know this is very advanced to do a larger than matte project with a Cricut. It's not undoable. We have a lot of people that have done it. I do many of them on the channel. We teach you how to do that here. So definitely check that out if you're interested. It'll help you a ton. But what you'll find is that it's a little difficult. If you are someone that's like, I need to cut larger all the time, guess what? They've been adding some really great machines to the market. So definitely check those out if you're interested in cutting like at, I believe, 16-inch width and so on and so forth. There are definitely more industrial cutters if this is not fitting your needs. Next up, how do I make my letters touch? Now in this 2023 updated video, if you watch previous videos about how to kern text, how to work with fonts and things like that into Cricut Design Space, you may notice you have to manually do it. The cool thing is, if we take a look at the computer, you'll see that within Cricut's updates, they now try to manually kern your text, which with some fonts is a blessing and some fonts it's a curse. So you can see this is a Maker's Gonna Learn font named Addie Kate. And for the most part, the H touches the E, but you can see these L's here are just a little too close for comfort. So what we're going to do is I like to go ahead and show you how I fix it. You can go to Advanced and you can click Ungroup Two Letters. Once you've done so, I like to work one letter at a time. So the H is good, the E is good. Now you would select your furthest two letters, leaving your L, your furthest L. So you take these two, your L and your O. You can select both of these layers by holding down Command, selecting both, and then with your different numeric, with your arrow keys, look at this. We can just slowly move these away and see how they can touch. So just like so, we're moving this away. So all we did was with our arrow key, we just moved it around to find that up here at the top, they're no longer touching and they flow together like you're actually writing. That's the goal when you're doing a design like this. So now that your second L is in place where you would like it, all you would do is now select your O by just clicking on it from the layers panel. And again, with your arrow keys, look at this. We're just moving it right over. And then once it's in place, just like so, looks really good. You're happy with this. You can actually take this right here and you can select all. You can take all of these letters right here and just drag, covering all of the letters, release, and you can go ahead and click under Combined and you can weld these together. Now this is welded together and will cut in all one layer. It's that easy to be able to manually kern your letters and have great success each and every time. Next up, we have people ask us all the time, Tanner, I can't really invest in an EasyPress right now or a heat press. Can I use the household iron for my heat transfer vinyl projects? And what I like to remind people is that heat transfer vinyl has been around for years. These EasyPresses just hit the market, right? Like a couple of years ago. So yes, the answer is you can totally use a household iron. Will you get consistent results? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on your household iron. It's so hard to say. This is a brand new iron. I've had the same iron before this one, like 15 years. So obviously that would be different. Now, another thing I want you to think about is, are you putting water in your iron, right? They like to use steam. They like to use the water. That is not going to be good for your heat transfer vinyl, guys. So you want to be careful about it. One of my favorite images to share when I'm comparing an EasyPress versus a household iron. As a household iron, it can be different temperatures at each part of it. So that's why you're going to get different inconsistent results time and time again. Now, the way that we combat that originally was really simple. You just keep pressing it until you see the bubbles on your heat transfer vinyl. That's my favorite tip. And I even use that with an EasyPress, right? You make sure that you see all the bubbles, which means the heat transfer is activated now to your fabric and not to the built-in transfer tape. So the long answer is it might be challenging, but the short answer is yes, you can totally use that household iron. Next question we get all the time is, do I need to invest in an EasyPress or should I go all the way for a heat press? And my answer has honestly changed throughout the years. If you are interested and have the space for sublimation, I personally think you should go straight to heat press. It's very rare someone gets an EasyPress, falls in love with sublimation, and sticks with the EasyPress. Why? Because sublimation is all about doing larger, bigger projects, right? And you need a large heat source to be able to do it. So if you know, Tanner, I want to use a Cricut, I want to sublimate, and I have the space for it, I say go big for a heat press. But if you're like, Tanner, I'm just doing iron-on projects, go for a 9x9 EasyPress, or even, guys, we use this time and time again. This is like $50. This is a mini EasyPress. We love this thing. This is like our favorite thing ever. And we use it for all of our heat transfer vinyl projects nowadays. We don't really use an EasyPress that often. It's very rare. So depending on what your needs are is what I'd recommend, but those are my 2 opinions. I get questions all the time, why will my print and cut not print? And most of the time it's letting you know that the image is too large. So you have to make sure that your image is smaller than 9.25 by 6.75. For some reason, that is the restriction for Cricut to do a print and cut. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why they can't make it larger when all of our material and printers and things like that are sized for regular standard paper, which is 8.5 by 11. I'm still curious myself. I think it could be a lot larger considering all they need is the small black bar. But that, my friends, is the limitations Cricut has today. Hopefully that will change in the very, very near future. People constantly ask, what is the difference between a PNG and an SVG? And that's such a great question. So here at Makers Gonna Learn, we love, love, love providing you with both. Because some people love working with one rather than the other. But what I want you to know is a PNG stands for a portable network graphic, and the SVG is a scalable vector graphic. So those are the terms of the 2. But in a crafter's world, here's what you need to know. The PNG is what we do for all of our print and cuts, our printable images, and things like that. Anything that has so many colors, it wouldn't be broken up into layers. An SVG is something really handy because you can take one of our files from Makers Gonna Learn, upload it with one-click install, right? And then it has all the layers organized. It has all the layers color-coded so that you could cut with different cardstock, different vinyl, and so much more. It's super handy, and the best part with scalable vector images, also known as SVGs, you can scale it, to the super small size, keep the quality, or you could scale it up to billboard size and the quality's still there. That's the beauty of the scalable vector image. With PNGs, not so much the case. You can scale them down and the quality will stay good, but if you try to scale it super large, you may lose some quality there. So that, my friends, are the main differences when it comes to crafters in working in those 2 different file types. Do I need to pre-wash my shirts? My favorite answer to this is buy pre-washed shirts, right? This is super fun when you can buy a pre-washed shirt. But truthfully, the answer is if it's not pre-washed, yes. The reason why you need to pre-wash your t-shirts is to make sure that if they're going to change in size, it happens before you apply the heat transfer vinyl. How embarrassing would it be to make a t-shirt, work so hard on it, put it in the wash, it shrinks, and guess what doesn't shrink? Your heat transfer vinyl. It's gonna crinkle up, it's gonna look embarrassing, and you'll never wanna wear it. So that's why you definitely want to make sure you wash it without any fabric softener before you go through and apply your heat transfer vinyl. You wanna make sure that shirt is sticking to the size it's gonna stay at for the duration of the time you have the heat transfer vinyl on it. Our last question today, my friends, is what Cricut accessories do I need? And I have you covered so well. I have a few of my favorites here on the table, but I have a video for you to go check out. This is the 2023 Cricut must-haves, and it is linked right here for you to go right on over and start watching because it is so, so good. Now, if you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more DIY Cricut episodes, and if you're like, y'all, I really like this guy, definitely check out our membership, makersgonnalearn.com, because guess what? We'll help you master your Cricut machine, give you access to 10,000 plus digital cut files, and well over 1,000 fonts with an included free commercial use license. Definitely check out our membership, linked right down below. See you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.